Today we're going to talk about how to write a thesis statement. So what is a thesis statement? Well, to start off, a thesis statement is a sentence or sentences that state the main idea of a writing assignment and help to control all the ideas within your paper. Your thesis statement is often, but not always, 1 or 2 sentences long and is most often placed within your introductory paragraph. You're going to want your thesis statement to be an arguable assertion, one that you can back up with evidence and opinions. It is not merely a topic, and you're going to want it to reflect an opinion or a judgment that you have made about a reading or personal experience. Without a thesis statement, writing your essay is like driving a car without a steering wheel. You have no direction. Your thesis statement will help to make sure that you are on the right path. Now that you know what a thesis statement is, how do you create a thesis statement? Well, to start, you can answer the question or respond to the writing test directly. One way to create a thesis statement is to directly answer the assigned question or task. When responding to a writing assignment, be sure that you have addressed all parts. That, or you can brainstorm and free write to discover your argument. If there is no specific writing assignment, begin by brainstorming, listing off key words and concepts, and free writing, writing informally, on your topic. Form an opinion and ask yourself, why is this important? What are the implications? Just keep writing. And then once you've done that, you can connect all your ideas from your brainstorm under one joining sentence. What do these ideas have in common? What overall argument connects those ideas? What do all the topic sentences suggest? Answer these questions to create a thesis. Keep in mind that a thesis statement is not a factual statement and not a topic sentence. So what's the difference between an effective and an ineffective thesis statement? Well, to start, an effective thesis statement should be an argument, not a fact. It should be limited, not too broad, and it should be sharply focused, not too vague. Let's start off with a two-factual sentence. The first polygraph was developed by Dr. John A. Larson in 1921. This sentence right here is obviously a fact. So how do we revise it to sound more like a thesis statement? Well, instead we should say, because the polygraph has not been proved reliable, even under controlled conditions, its use by private employers should be banned. Well, now we have an argument. Its use by private employers should be banned. And we have evidence to back it up, because the polygraph has not been proved reliable. A hint is that if it sounds like a Wikipedia or encyclopedia entry, it's probably too factual. Moving on to a too broad statement. Being overly materialistic will cause many problems. How so? Well, instead we should say, being overly materialistic will cause many problems because you lose sight of what matters to you. Using the word because, we're able to limit it to a specific topic. Now moving on to a too vague sentence. Many country songs are disgusting. Well, what do you mean? Instead we should say, some country songs are sexist because they may objectify women, painting them as fantasies without any real substance. Well, instead of saying disgusting, we're zoning in and saying sexist, getting more specific with what we mean by disgusting. To summarize, a thesis should address the prompt clearly, it should make a claim or an argument, it should be arguable, an opinion. It should be in the first paragraph of your essay, and it should be about 1 or 2 sentences. And it should not use I, you, we, or us. Now let's try to spot a thesis. On each of the following slides, read the writing prompt and the sample statements. Choose the one that is the best choice for a thesis statement. Let's start with the following prompt. Early on in life, people develop an admiration for heroes. In a well-developed essay, discuss a person you admire and why you chose this person. Look at the answers below and choose which you think is the best thesis statement. Let's start with the first answer. A. Ruth was a side-arming power pitcher who made 127 appearances on the mound before appearing at any other position in the field. This answer right here is just a fact. There is no evidence to back it up, and therefore it is not a good thesis statement. B. Early on in life, Babe Ruth chewed tobacco and drank whiskey. This sentence right here is also just a fact, nothing else to back it up with anything. So therefore this is also not a good thesis statement. C. Babe Ruth is the greatest baseball player of all time. Well, this does have an opinion in it, but it is not a good thesis statement because there is nothing to back it up. One person I admire is Babe Ruth, who played baseball from 1914 until 1935. The person is addressing the prompt, but they are not giving any evidence, and they are just stating a fact by saying when he played baseball. So therefore, this is not a good thesis statement. Moving on to E. Babe Ruth became one of the greatest baseball players of all time by making 714 home runs, being one of the best left-handed pitchers, and changing the game forever through his style of play. This right here is a great thesis statement. It has the opinion of Babe Ruth being the greatest baseball player. It has a couple of reasons as to why he's the best, so evidence to back it up. So this is the best answer. E. Moving on to the next prompt. State law requires high school students to pass exit tests before they graduate from high school. Consider carefully the advantages and disadvantages of passing required exit tests. Do you agree or disagree with making high-stake exit tests such as the graduation test a requirement for high school graduation? Look at the answers below and decide which you think is the best thesis statement. Let's start with the first answer. Exit exams are a good idea because they can help determine if students are ready for college or work and help judge if teachers are doing their job. This sentence right here sounds like a very good thesis statement. It says that exit exams are a good idea, so it has an opinion in it, and it gives examples as to why. Ready for college or work and help to judge if teachers are doing their jobs. So let's keep this one in mind when looking through the rest of the answers. B. Exit exams suck because there are many disadvantages. Well, one, you probably shouldn't say the word suck in your essay. And it doesn't kind of extend on any of the ideas as what are the many disadvantages. So this one is a bad thesis statement. If a student can pass all of his classes, he should still graduate. Well, this one's not very specific on what they mean and doesn't have very much evidence to back it up. So this is not a good thesis statement. D. An exit exam is a test which a student is required to pass in order to complete a course of study. This sentence right here is just stating a fact of what an exit exam is and explaining what it is, and therefore it is not a good thesis statement because there is no argument and no evidence to back it up. E. I disagree with making high-stake exit tests such as graduation test a requirement for high school graduation. Well, this does have an opinion, but it doesn't have anything to back it up like the first one does. So therefore, this is a bad thesis statement. And that makes A the best answer. Let's look at the last prompt. Technology has changed our country a great deal in the last 10 years. Your social studies class is debating the importance of many new inventions in today's world. Decide which invention you think is the most important. Look at the answers below and decide which you think is the best thesis statement. Let's look at the first answer. A. It is smartphones because they are like pocket computers and help us do everything. Well, it does address the prompt, but it's not very specific on what it helps to do, so therefore this is not a good thesis statement. B. Cell phones are the most important invention of all time. Well, why? This does address the prompt and does have an opinion, but it doesn't have any evidence to back it up. So this is not a good thesis statement. C. Smartphones are the most important invention from the last 10 years because they have changed the way people learn, work, and communicate. This addresses the prompt, it has an opinion, and it has evidence to back it up. So this sounds like a very good thesis statement. But let's look at the other options. D. Instagram forever changed the game by allowing its users to make stories and go live. It does have an opinion and it does have a little bit of evidence to back it up, but it does not directly address the prompt, so therefore this is not a good thesis statement. E. The technology created within the last 10 years is lit. Well, you probably shouldn't use the word lit in your essay. And it's not very specific on which technology is the most important. And it has no evidence to back it up, so this is not a good thesis statement. So that makes C the best answer.